Hello and welcome to this 100% trophy/achievement walkthrough guide for Zeus Quest Remastered. Zeus Quest Remastered is a point and click adventure game in which you play the legendary Zeus and you are led through a series of stories trying to find your way through to the end to save the Earth. I'll try and keep the commentary light in order to walk you through the game and get you to the end in the quickest possible time. One quick note is that make sure you do not skip between screens too quickly. This can cause the game to crash and therefore ruin your progress. This happened to me originally at the last scene, so I had to go and restart all the game again in order to complete it. So the controls are fairly simple for this game. Simply hover over things and click with the X button. You can turn your viewfinder into a magnifying glass with the square button. This will also help you to investigate parts of the map as you go through. So as the point and click game suggests, you need to click on various parts of the screen in order to find the route forwards. So here I'm going to click on the go with the X button and it's going to give me 1p. That indicates that I'm doing the right thing. I will launch a dialogue conversation. It just shows the top option, what are you eating there? Then for our next action we need to choose the sun and we need to place it on the go. That will launch some more dialogue. We will choose the third option down and that will launch some more dialogue and earn us up to 4p. And then we'll use the sun again on the go. That will give us some more dialogue and we're going to pick OK, go on. As we give the sun to the go, you can see that we have more dialogue available. You can also use the tips section at any time, which is located on the right hand side of the screen. For our next dialogue choice, we're going to pick option 3. That will allow us to pick up the go and place it into our inventory. At this point we're nearly at the end of this little part of story, so we're just going to move Zeus away from the particular road as we're going to want to get out and exit to the north. So we're going to want to drag the goat that's now in your inventory up towards the top of the screen so that it can help us ride to the next level. As that's completed you can see the 2p has appeared, and just keep clicking and then we'll get on the goat and ride away for our first trophy. This is the main map, so this is all the locations that you can visit. You can visit them in any order you wish, but it's best to visit them in the order that we're going to show you in this video. There will be quite a bit of going backwards and forwards between each location, and sometimes the clicks are not very accurate, so I may have to click more than once to go to the place where I want to start the next scene. So I'm going to click on the guy doing the press ups. That's going to give us some dialogue. And then we're going to click on the rocks at the bottom of the screen for some more dialogue. We're going to answer yes. I'm going to pick those rocks up and put them in our inventory. Now we're going to exit to the right of the level. You do try and click as close to the edge as you can, but sometimes it doesn't allow it. And then we'll click the orange box in order to go back to the main map. Going to go back to the original starting location and place the stones on the guy that sat down on the beach. You're going to want to just click a few times and you're going to give the guy the stones. Then if we click on the mirror to move Zeus to that side of the beach. We'll quickly steal the mirror and put it in our inventory. And then we can go back to the previous place. Sometimes it's difficult, he gets in the way quite a bit. So we'll go back to this previous place and talk to this gargoyle type creature. We're going to select the first option. Then the second option. Then we're going to move over to the left, back to the guy doing the press ups. So made our way over to this stone. We're not quite close enough, so we're going to click again on the hole in the stone so it gets a little bit closer. We're then going to add the mirror that's in our inventory onto that stone, and that's going to help us complete the next part of this puzzle. There you go, there's us putting the mirror in. Give it a click to click through the dialogue, and then we're going to move to our right. Go back to the old gargoyle type creature. And then we're going to answer with the first question again. Just click through the dialogue. Go to the grapes, click on the grapes. That's going to allow us to put these grapes in our basket. And we're going to be making the wine, which is in the press, at the front of the screen. So click on the grapes you've just harvested and put them into the square-like object. Then we're going to press on the berries that are now in the square and press get in. And then we're going to press the second option, jump like crazy. And he's going to start jumping and mushing the beans up. Berries up, sorry. So now you see it's a bit of a liquid. Click to get out. And then we want to click on the spout that's at the side of the square container. You might need to click it a couple of times. I'll click on the jug. And then you want to take it with you, which is the top option. Turn on the spout, and then that should have filled the container with the wine that you've just made. And then you want to pick the top option again to put it in your inventory. That will give us another trophy, so winemaker has just been unlocked. Now we're going to go to the left and click on the guy doing the press-ups again. I'm going to give him the wine that we've just made. Again, sometimes it doesn't matter where you stand. Just try and give him the wine. Then he's going to take and drink the wine. And get some more dialogue. Then just click through that until the dialogue's exhausted, then move to the right. Keep moving to the right until you can exit the level. I'm going to go back to the original start point of the two people on the beach. Click by the sea and click the first option to go for a swim.
You're about to splash some water on your face and see your reflection. Suddenly, it all comes
This should
back
then trigger a cutscene.
I'm Zeus, the mighty boss of Olympus. An ancient security mechanism.
At the end of the cutscene we will get two trophies, one for getting our first 50p and another one for Ocean Swimmer. So they're your next two trophies. Just while this cutscene is going on, please remember to like, share and subscribe to us here at How To Trophies. Be much appreciated. Leave us a comment in the comment section below. Everything helps us and helps the algorithm with our videos, so thank you, it's much appreciated.
Now that I see myself.
So our next two trophies should be unlocking shortly, and then we'll go back into the original scene of the guy sat on the beach with Zeus. For our fifth trophy, remember mission, we're going to have to go back to where we were previously with the priest and the winemaking. Click on the priest. Continue the conversation with him. And select the third option down. Then click him again and select the fourth option down. And he's going to give you another item. It looks a bit like a coin with an owl on it. That will unlock the trophy remember mission and also unlock some more dialogue. You want to choose the top option. And then that's the dialogue exhausted, so you can move to the right. and then click on the gargoyle guy again to talk to him. Click the second option down. Can I have the donkey? Give him the coin that's then in your inventory. And click the second option in exchange for the donkey. That will allow you to progress forward. I'm not sure you need to ask him that bit. I think I just accidentally clicked the dialogue, but just click through the dialogue, then click on the donkey. Select the third option down, and you'll put him into your inventory. I'm going to exit this particular level back to the map. And we're going to go to port. It's going to tell us we don't have any transportation, so we need to select the goat and move it across. And that will allow us to, once we've clicked through, to access port. Also, the Get a Ride trophy will be unlocked. So click on port and you'll arrive in the new location. First, you will try and talk to the sailor on the left of the screen. Select the third option. Click through the dialogue. And then click on the cargo net or the guys to the right. And click option 3, anything new. And then again, option 2, are you fisherman too? So coming up, you're going to want to ask the fisherman if there's anything new, which is the third option, and then the top option, and then the second option, just to exhaust the dialogue, click on the other fisherman and do the same. Start with anything new, followed by the second option. You should get some kind of drinks menu or little illustrative of an alcoholic drink. And then we're going to go ahead and click on the mosaic. You want to press square to turn your pointer into a magnifying glass. You'll click that a few times and you'll get a few more pennies. We're up to 69 pennies at the moment in the top screen. And then we want to click on the guy at the bottom right hand of the screen and select the third option. And then the fourth option. And then we can leave this area. We're going to head to Fina, which is another new area. So this area, we want to click on the artist that's right next to us and select the bottom dialogue option. And then the third dialogue option. And then we're going to want to use the coil that's in our inventory at the right, and we're going to want to give it to the artist. There should be some more dialogue we can click through. And then keep clicking on the artist. And then hit the second option down. And the bottom option again, and it should give you his paintbrush. So you've got that paintbrush in your inventory. I'm going to click on the discus that's on the statue. That's going to give us another 1p. And then we're going to click on the children that are in the top corner and select the bottom dialogue. And select the bottom dialogue again. And then we're going to want to go back to the map to see what location we're going to next. And we're going to make our way to the next location. Click on the lady to the far left of the screen. We're going to want to choose option 4. I want to play the game too. And then we're going to want to give her the picture of the drinks in our inventory. And the dialogue again is the bottom one. I want to play too, and that will start a game. Now these games are randomly generated, so it won't look, or it might not look anything like the one that we've got on screen at the moment. There is a trophy for these for not using any hints during these games. Eventually what will happen if you take too many turns is the game will pretty much finish it for you. So as you can see here, I've just simply cut it out. I didn't finish the game in time, so the game did it for me. But that still nets you the trophy of not using a tip. So it should unlock shortly following that puzzle. And then we're going to get some gifts from the lady. So 2 things, a VIP ticket and what looks like some kind of inscribed stone. And then we're going to click on the lady again. And select the top dialogue option. And then we're going to probably move on to the next bit of the level. One thing that I would say about this game is I think there's probably more pennies that you can unlock that are not on the main side track. So if you do see a different figure in the top right hand corner in terms of the pennies that I've got versus what you've got, I wouldn't necessarily worry if it's different. Other than that first trophy for gaining 50p, I don't think there are any further trophies that are related to that number. We can now exit back to the right again and back to the main map in order to go to our next location. Back to Fira. And then we're going to go the other side of the sculpture. I'm going to click on the big bruiser guy. I'm going to offer him the VIP ticket. And that's going to allow us to get into this next bit of cutscene. And this will unlock our next trophy. You can imagine what's going on in there, I'm sure. And there we are, we exit with a nice piece of underwear, and the next trophy will unlock. It is a little bit delayed sometimes the trophies don't unlock when they're meant to in this game. Just be patient. And we're going to go back to the place where we were playing the game previously. I'm going to click on square. I'm going to investigate the thing in the bottom left hand corner. And we're going to take the underwear and we're going to give it to the guy in the top right. Then just click through the dialogue. Also give him the little stone temple in your inventory. Or pyramid. And then we're going to want to answer with the bottom 4th option of the dialogue. And then the 3rd option of the dialogue. Then go back to the map type thing and click on your magnifying glass. A few pennies earned from that. And then we'll want to continue the conversation with the chap in the top right corner, who's a philosopher. He'll then give you an alcoholic drink, which you can put in your inventory. And then we're going to go to the map to see where we're going next. And we'll go back to the port. Going to offer the alcoholic drink to the plant in the far left corner, bottom left corner. I'm sure the plant's going to enjoy that. I'm going to pick up the plant once it's died. Just give it a few clicks and you'll put that into your inventory. And then we'll go back to the map to move to a different location. Back to Fira. And we'll combine the brush with the plant or the flower. So we're going to paint the flower. So you'll see that in your inventory now. And then we're going to give the flower to the boy in the blue jumper. Keep clicking through. He's going to hand it to the lady he's with. And then you want to answer with number 4 on the dialogue choices. And he's going to go and take the metal disc off the sculpture that's at the front of the shop. And that'll be added to your inventory. So we want to take the circle and hand it to the bird. So we're going to throw it as a discus. Knock the bird out. And then we're going to click on the bird to pick it up. Then we're going to move to the left. Keep moving to the left. Again, sometimes you have to click more than once to get through each level. I'm going to click down at the bottom corner because I want to get actually access to the preacher. Go into inventory and pick up the bird. I'm going to give it to the preacher. And for some reason it walks back around to the other side. And just click through the dialogue. And then go back to interact with the priest again. Or preacher, sorry. Oh, it's the mayor. And you want to select the third option once you've clicked on him. And click through the dialogue. And select the second option. So here you actually want to click on the second guy in the picture at the front. Here accidentally click on the bird poo in front of him. Don't do that. Just click on the guy in the brown and open the dialogue and select the third option. That will allow you to pick up the bird poo and put it in your inventory. Click to the right as we'll move away, and then to the right again as we go to exit the level. Back to the main map, and we're going to go to Caldera. I want to use the bird poo on the waitress, or sexy waitress as it's subtitled. She's going to give us some drinks. And then we're going to go back to the main map and back to the port location. We're going to give the drinks to the guys holding the net, or the guy on the right holding the net. Then he'll give us some scissors in return. I'm going to use those scissors to cut some fabric off the sail of this guy. So now we should be able to click through the dialogue and click on this guy and select the third option. Still says it's too dangerous, so we need to do some more convincing. So we'll go and exit the level. And we'll go back to one of the start levels. If you exit back out of the level and go to the map again, you'll get a dialogue option to say it needs to be night, and you'll click back on port and you will see it's changed to night, and now everybody has left. So we can now try and dig up the mosaic, which is what we were intending to do previously. So if you use square to get the magnifying glass up, there's a little fish you can see on the screen. Just keep clicking on that. Keep clicking until you get no more options, and then you can put the little fish into your inventory. Or at least into your pocket. Oh, there it is. It's appeared in the inventory. Use the sunshine on the mosaic. Or ambrosia, as it's called actually in the game. Use the ambrosia again. And for a third time. Use it on yourself rather than the ground. And click the mosaic to start bashing into it and breaking it up. Again, just keep clicking and you'll get in the hole and find what looks like a lightning rod. And that's where you'll unlock the Find Your Weapon trophy. Now we need to go about charging that lightning rod with some lightning. So I'll head off to Fira. And we'll click to the left to move to the left. And again to talk to the mayor. We're going to want to select option 2 to open the road. He's convinced, so then we're going to have to use the lightning rod on the mayor. Keep clicking until eventually the road is opened and we can exit to the top left of the screen in order to go to the next location. So you're going to go to OR, or however you pronounce that, and click on this guy's table. And then use the rope in the inventory and give it to the guy behind the desk. Click through the dialogue and then option 2, how's business? Then option 2. Then option 1. Then click on the jar or pot and take the stone pot bottom dialogue option. This will put it in your inventory. And then we can move on to click on the lemon in the bottom left corner. Use the ambrosia on the lemon. Well, it's actually a lotus fruit, but it looks like a lemon to me. Now it looks like a lotus fruit. Click on the lotus fruit until it's exhausted, and we can pick it and put it into our inventory. Like so. Now click on the lotus fruit and you're going to want to give it to the couple in the top left corner by the sun. Once you've done that, there should be some more dialogue options. He's going to eat the fruit. It's going to invigorate him. Then click on the red item that's by the side of the lady. You'll put that into your inventory. Little cheeky. And then click the guy behind the table again. And then we want to choose option 2 from the dialogue box. Once we've done that, we can exit the level to the left. and then we can go back to the port area. So everyone's back now, it's daylight again. I'm going to click on the sailor in the top left. And we're going to go option 4. And then option 4 again. And then we'll jump on the boat and we'll have a little bit of a cutscene. And we'll arrive at our next island. Take the lightning rod and put it in the pile of stones at the bottom left. This should allow us to click on there and pick that up. I believe that's iron ore now. Click on the seagull at the left hand side of the screen and choose option 2. And then option 3. And then go click on the right hand side and pick up, take the skull, the second dialogue option. And then I'm going to exit to the right hand side. So that is now open for us to go to regularly. We're going to select monolith. Again, this is the first time we've been here. Use your magnifying glass on the grass little bush that's there. Should give us 1p. And then click on it using the non-magnified icon. And we should pick up an item. Then once we've picked up that item, we can go back to the left again. And go back to the volcano. Combine the fruit and the pot together in the inventory. Then you're going to want to go to the second page and combine that with the pestle, which should make the fruit into a mush. You're going to want to then try and cook the mush in the heat of the lava. Keep clicking until the dialogue exhausts. And then go to the right and select the tree. You'll pick up some coal. And then you want to put your iron ore into the pot that you've got on the fire. Keep clicking until the dialogue's exhausted again. Then you can pick the pot up and put it into your inventory. That's going to be very hot. And then with that pot you've got in your inventory, we want to pour it into the line you can see in the ground here. Once you've done that, you can click on the guy balancing on the stone and click option 2 once the dialogue's open while you're sitting on the pillar. Just click through the dialogue and then choose the third option and then choose the fourth option. Once you finish talking to him, he should start to levitate. And your iron bar should be done. So you want to pick up the iron bar and put it into your inventory. One more thing to do in this scene. We're going to use the pestle from the inventory. And we're going to put that into the fire. And that's going to form a torch. So once you've done that, you can see the torch in your inventory. We can move on to the next level. So we're going to go back to the monolith. And we're going to go to select our iron bar that we made at the previous level. Stick it in the hole at the bottom of the screen. That should increase its size somewhat. And then you've got a way to get up to the platform. Click on it and use the first dialogue option to try and get on the pole. Obviously you're too heavy for this, so click on the child. And option 4, do you want to play fireman, will allow you to put the child into your inventory and then use the child from your inventory on the pole. This may take a couple of times to get it right. It's quite pernickety about where it likes. So the child's going to struggle to get up, so we need to do something else here. I'm going to get the metal spring and put it onto the child. So he's now going to have springs for feet. So we're going to use the spring child again on the pole. And he's going to be able to reach that platform above. Click on the gold items in the far right corner. He should pick both of them up. And those will go into your inventory for later. You should then take the red rag and combine it with the gold item that's the less shiny of them. We'll then clean that up so they're both nice and shiny now. And then use the item you just shined up on the statue, and the child will put that on the statue. Click through the dialogue. Then back in your inventory, use the circular carved stone in the bigger stone that's on the platform. That will unlock something else, which will go in the middle of the other golden shield that we got previously from picking it up. So go to your inventory, pick up that gold item and put it with your lightning rod. This will automatically unlock charge your weapon. And then we're going to take the metal pole away so the child is stuck on the platform. And we'll unlock the next trophy called Fool a Child. Unfortunately for him, he's now stuck up there. And then we're going to exit to the left to go back to one of the previous levels. So I want to go to Volcano again. Click to the left hand side of the screen at the bottom. You'll find a bird. You want to use the shield with a hole in it on the bird. He's going to pick up the egg and put it in the middle of the shield. I'm going to pick up the egg at least. I think we do eventually put it in the middle of the shield. I got that wrong earlier where I thought we put the ball into the middle of the shield. No, we combine it in the inventory now. So there we are, we've combined those two together. And then we head back to the right. And we'll exit the level back to the main map. We'll go back to Akatori, I think it's called. You want to go to the far left and use the lightning rod on the head, on the severed head. This will help put the head back onto the body of the main character. It's at the back, so there we are. That's that bit complete. Click through the dialogue and then ask the priest question number 1 or the top dialogue, and again use the lightning on the gold statue. This is going to help it levitate. And then we move to the right, move back to the main map again. From the map, we're going to want to head to the island at the top left. Then once we're there, we're going to want to use the coal from our inventory on the kind of nondescript pile at the top of the screen. That's going to make us a little bit of a fireplace. And then we'll use the metal or the iron rod. Just clicking the side of the stone. This was a little bit of a faff to get in. I did edit this bit. And then we're going to use the fire on the coal in order to heat it up so it bends the iron bar. And then we're going to place the skull from our inventory on the iron bar to complete this bit of the puzzle. Click through the dialogue. And then also want to take the shield from our inventory and put it on top of the skull. This will unlock the trophy shield up. And then that's it for now. We're going to move to the next level to the right. And we're going to go back to Oira. Oh yeah. Use the lightning rod on the sun. This is going to start our next cutscene. Again, as I mentioned previously in this video, do not skip through the cutscene using the X button, otherwise it will not come out of the cutscene in the correct state. It did that anyway for me, so I did have to restart, so there will be a cut in this. But yeah, I had to restart because of that. Thankfully not from the start, as it wasn't locked out, but yeah, I had to reload the level again. So during the cutscene you'll create a triangle on the map that unlocks part of a mechanism. And then once the cutscene has ended, you'll be dumped back into the original level again. As I said, this bit didn't work for me, so I did have to reload. But then you go back to your left to go to Akatora. Then to your left again and click on the stone box that's in front of you. Try and lift that stone lid off, keep clicking. And then you'll have found the part of the time machine that you need, which is the base. This will unlock time machine, which is your first trophy. There will be several of these time machine trophies as you build this thing together. You go back to the main map and click through the dialogue. You'll then be presented with a new map of different areas as you sail across the ocean. And first we want to go to the area in the bottom left. Click on the lady in the purple dress and use dialogue 2, option 2, and then option 3, and then option 4. And then option 2, and she should give you her scarf, or I was going to say necklace, but it's a scarf. And click on the guy to the left. It's the priest again. Option 3. Then option 4. Then option 1. Then option 4. Quite a bit of dialogue. And then option 2. And then option 1. Option 3. And option 3 again. Not sure you need to do that option 3 a second time. Maybe I just ended up clicking it incorrectly. Then we're going to want to click on the woman in the orange dress. And option 1. Followed by option 2. Then option 3. Then finally option 4. And then again option 4. And then I'm going to exit to the left and go back to the main map. And go to the theatre. In this area we're going to need to challenge these two that are wrestling, so click on the guy on the left and the second option. Sorry, the guy on the right and the second option. And then the guy on the left and the third option. And then the middle option. Challenge them to a wrestling match, which you're probably not going to win. And then click on the guys that are supporting at the top left. Choose the second dialogue option, then the first dialogue option, then the third option. Then we're going to click on the little bird pigeon at the front of the screen. Choose the second option. And then the third option. Then the first option. I think we're all top taps of this pigeon now. Then we'll go back to the guy in the green top. Choose the third option. And then the second option. Click on the guy in the blue trunks or skirt. Choose the bottom option to insult them. And then choose the bottom option again. The second option. And then you'll be jump into the ring in between them to start a fight. You do have to listen to what they're telling you at this point, because that will give you the right options in order to beat them. If you don't beat them, your heart at the top right hand side of the screen will be depleted. So here I did actually lose my first time round on this. So you do get a couple of chances. So I'm using the bottom option to think about what I'm doing. Then click on the green guy. Then we're going to select the second dialogue option, followed by the second dialogue option. And then the third dialogue option to find out what the other fighter is weak against. To make sure you're taking and paying attention to what the fans are saying. It will tell you what to do. So if we click the guy on the left, we want to grab his neck. We then want to punch him, both option 1. And then the guy on the right. We'll choose option 3, pull his arm. And then option 4, kick him in the shin. And then click time for action. And it will start the cutscene. And if we do this right, we should beat up both of these characters. Then we should exit to the top of the screen. Click back on the guy with the blue. And he will give you a wristband for you to add to the inventory. And then you can exit the screen to the left. And we'll use the wristband on the tree. Keep clicking through the dialogue. You should earn a couple more pennies. And then we'll go to waterfall. So here you can see this guy's dangling his fish line. So we're going to click on the guy. And we'll get option 4. See if we can get his rod. We can't, so we're going to give the ambrosia to the bottom of the rod. And that's going to help us catch a fish. There we are, keep clicking. It's going to make the fish massive. And he's going to be happy with his catch. You can see a bird at the background of the screen. That's going to be relevant later. So just watch out for that. Again, click on the frog and ask him for the bottom dialogue option if he's going to come with you. Click him again and the third dialogue option. And then finally the second dialogue option. Then use the fishing line we've just gained on the metal chain that's hanging by the waterfall. This should help us to take the metal chain and put it into our inventory. as well as put the fishing rod back into our inventory. So we'll use the lightning on the bird. So watch for it coming, then click it, and it'll fall down, and you should be able to put it into your inventory. After you've given it the kiss of life. Then we're going to go back to the main map. I want to go to Bell. Use the fishing rod and the chain together to combine them. And then ask the guy. Option 1 in the dialogue. Followed by option 2. And then option 4. Click on the thing floating in the water. You pick up the jar. You place it into your inventory. Then you're going to use the fishing rod and metal chain that you used earlier and attach it to either side of the 2 wooden things that are stuck up at the top of the screen. You should then have a hanging metal chain and no fishing rod anymore. Then use the stone pyramid on the little bit of a boat here to dislodge this piece of rope. Pick up the rope and put it into your inventory. And then we'll go back to one of the previous levels from the main map. So back to Waterfall. Once this level loads, you're going to want to give the vase that we've just picked out of the sea to the frog. So go into your inventory and pick the vase up and give it to the frog. Keep clicking through the dialogue. Eventually the frog is going to assume it joins you in your inventory. He'll be important for the next part we're going to do here, after we've gone back to the main map and gone to the castle area. So use your magnifying glass in the water to investigate that water real hard. Just keep clicking until the dialogue finishes. You might need to move the magnifying glass around in order for it to finish. Once all the dialogue is complete, use the frog in the water. The frog will only go in the water once the dialogue is complete. And then he retrains some gloves from the water. So click on the guy on top of the tower in the knight's armour. Select option 3, can I go in? He's not going to let you. Spoiler alert. Then option 2 to get more information on the castle. And then we can go back to the main map. Back to the bell. I'm going to go to the right of the inventory and use the gloves on the guy that's digging the hole. That should help his hands. You can now dig a massive hole. I wonder what we're going to find at the bottom. It does take some time digging this hole. Don't worry, there he's found a little wheel. Click on that and take it into your inventory. You'll need that for the castle level, which is where we're going to head now. So exit to your left and go to the castle. Talk to the guard again. Option 1 first, then option 3. Then click on the ram's head above the door. He's going to get awful mad about that. But keep clicking him until he gets less mad. And then select the bottom option from the next dialogue. Clicking through that. Then you use the bird on the ram's head above the door. Again, just keep clicking. This should distract the guard, allow you to move to the next bit. So click on the bird, then click on the guard. He's then going to realise there's a bird there. At this point, we're going to want to move our inventory to the wheel. Put the wheel into a little gap in the wall that you see in the centre. Then click it. Use option 4 to turn the crank. Then we're going to go back to the main map and go back to the waterfall area. Select the frog. Put it into the waterfall. Click until the dialogue is exhausted. It won't let you do it. So then we'll combine the rope and the frog together to make a rope and a frog, or a bungee cord frog. Then use that on the same place in the waterfall you tried before. The frog will hop out. You'll have hold of him. Keep clicking. And then we're going to use the ambrosia on the frog, because what's in there is too big for it to carry normally. So again, once we use the ambrosia, use the frog and the band on the hole. He's going to go in there. He's going to come out with a big surprise, a rather large bell. It's going to go into our inventory, and then the frog's going to hop off on its way full of ambrosia. So again, we're going back to the main map. And we'll go to the bell. We'll put the bell onto the chain at the top of the screen. It may take a couple of goes. As I said, it can be quite finicky. So use the lightning and the bell together, which should help it levitate into place. We're going to then add the piece of material that we used for the frog earlier onto the bottom of the bell so we can ring it. Then we're going to click the bell rope until we can ring the bell, and that's going to cause some ripple effects. And then if you click on this cave that's to the right of the bell, we'll pull out our next object, a round pendant. And then we can go back to the main map to move to the next area. Back to the castle we go. The guard will still be trying to shoot the bird, and we're going to use the object we just got from the previous level on the disc in the bottom left corner. This is going to allow us to click on the disc and then gain our next part of the time machine. So we'll plug that in. We'll get a little bit of a cutscene, and the trophy should pop up then. So once that's popped up, we can move on and move back to the main map. The next trophy will be the second part of the time machine, so we need to find another part. So we'll go to the tree. It's the first time we're accessing this level. Click on the tree itself and snap off this wooden branch here and put that into our inventory. Then click on the lady to the left and use the top option. Then the third option. Then the fourth option. Then the second option. Then the third option. Then the top option. This should give you a set of cards if done correctly. Then click on the lady to the right. Use the top option. The third option. Then the fourth option. We need to find some more pieces for this jigsaw that we're going to do next. So use the fourth option again. pick up the cards and put them on the altar. Keep clicking the altar until you get the sparkly effect, and then we'll go back to the left. We do need some more pieces, but we need to do a couple more things first. So we're going to want to go back to our first original area with the two ladies and the priest. Use the rag on the stick, or the scarf, sorry, on the stick. Which makes another item, which looks a bit like a feather duster. I'm going to pick that up and use it on the pigeon that's in front of the statue. That's going to help us to capture the pigeon and put it into our inventory. And then we can go back to the main map and then go to the theatre. Click on the pigeon in our inventory and place it on top of the pigeon that we can see in the bottom right corner. Click through the dialogue. Let's give you a few more pence. And then you've got two pigeons in your inventory. Exit back to the main map again once you've done that. Then we can go back to the area with the two ladies. Click on the first lady in red, the left of the two. And use option 4 in the dialogue tree. Then click on the purple lady and use option 3 in the dialogue tree. Again, just keep clicking through the dialogue, and then we're going to go back to the main map again for our next area, which is going to be back to the tree. So click again on the lady on the right with the blue hair. Option 4. Option 1. Option 3. Option 4. And there she should give you the remaining pieces that we need. Take those 3 pieces you've gained in the inventory and put them again on the altar. So there should be 6 pieces on the altar now in total. Keep clicking the altar as it sparkles into effect. And then use the pigeon on the altar, specifically the one facing left. And then that will go, and then we'll use the one facing the right. I don't think it matters which order you put these on, to be honest. But this is the order I did. And then click it, and we're on the top dialogue option. And we'll start the puzzle. Again, much like the previous puzzle, I'll just skip it because I didn't manage to solve it in the correct time, but the game will auto-solve it for you, with the exception of placing the last piece. Or moving the last piece, sorry. So there we are, that was it. Again, it's some RNG, so it doesn't matter whether you do the puzzle or not. And that's going to give us our next piece. That's our second piece of the time machine. And the trophy should unlock shortly after this little cutscene that you get. There we are, time machine +2 should be the trophy. We're getting close to building this time machine now. So we'll move back to the left and back to the main map. And then onto our next area, Mykonos. So this is another new area. Click on the lady with the brown hair, or the brunette. Ask to talk to the brunette, option 1. Then option 4, what's wrong? Then talk to the redhead lady. Option 4, are you okay? And then we can leave this area. We'll be coming back here shortly. But for now, we'll go to the windmill, which is in the top left. Click on the guy who's having a bit of a tiz in his loincloth. Option 1. Essentially saying the windmill is broken. Then option 2, to ask him what's happened. Then option 4, before we leave, click on the thing to go back to the map. Then we'll go to our next location, which is Lions. This is another new area for us. Here we find some statues of lions and a rather old looking man in the foreground. Click the man and choose option 4. Geez, you're ugly. Bit harsh. And then we'll move back to the previous area. And go back to Mykonos again. Again, click on the ladies. And talk to the brunette lady. Choose option 4. Then talk to the brunette lady again. Keep clicking. And then talk to the redhead. Option 4. And then talk to the redhead again. And that's the end of that dialogue. So you can go back to the main map. And then we'll go back to the windmill. Click on the guy again, who's still having a bit of a hard time clearly. And choose option 4. Essentially trying to match these people up with the girls. Then option 2. That's the end of that dialogue for now. Now you're going to want to try and kick this object here. It's going to do nothing. You're just going to hurt your foot. Keep clicking it there. Kick it again. Still nothing's happening, and all you're doing is hurting your foot. Use the magnifying glass. And then go back to one of the previous levels. So we'll go back to Lions to talk to this guy again. So once you've clicked on him, use option 4. Again, talking about the ladies in Mykonos. Once the dialogue is exhausted, you can go back out to the main map. There's a lot of backwards and forwards in these levels. And you're going to go to Ireland, which is the one above the previous location. Pick the flower up from the centre of the screen and put it into your inventory. Oh, it's a daisy. And that's all we need from this area for the moment. We'll be back here later. Go back to the windmill. Again, clicking on this area. Again, I found one more penny. And eventually you will pick up this wooden cork type thing, which we can take back to Mykonos. Use the cork on the red-haired lady. And the brunette will give you some kind of, looks like a nail, almost an upturned nail, and start playing her harp. Click on them to talk to the brunette. Then give the redhead the flower, or the daisy. Again, clicking through the dialogue, and she gives you a hair clip, or hair scrunchie. Don't think they had scrunchies in those times. Then we're going to exit, because we've got what we need from this part. Go back to the windmill. Slowly piecing these items together in order to get to the next point. So we're going to give the nail to the guy in the loincloth, who's looking a bit happier now. He's not quite as frantic. So once the engineer has the nail, click through the dialogue. And then we can go back to the map where we were previously. I'm going to go to the lions and we're going to talk to the other guy again. We're going to give him the hair tie or hair scrunchie we got from the redhead. He's going to be excited by that, obviously. And he's going to give you a scythe or a blade of some description. a hook. Use the hook on the fish to cut the fish open, and this will give us our next trophy. Once we've found the contents of the fish, which happen to be some kind of silver coin. There we are, there's the trophy for hidden bonus. Getting towards the end now, so that should be trophy 16. Trophy 17 will be for the next part of the time machine. But for now, click on the flower. And then click on the blockage. That's the stone in the middle of the level. Then use your lightning rod to free the debris. That should allow water to return to the channel that's in front of the flowers. We need to just get that water flowing though first. So if we go back to the main map and then back to Mykonos. Use the scythe on the ivy that's on the column of the palace. This is hard work. Taking all the ivy. And then that's all we need from this level now. So we're going to go back to the main map. And we're going to go to Island. And we want to use the ivy on the top of the flagpole there. Again, I did struggle with this one. It is very pernickety about where you put it. So use the ambrosia with the ivy. Once it's told you the first dialogue, it can't be done. And that should change the ivy into a thinner, stronger rope. Then you're going to want to kind of put it on the roof again. Again, it's very picky about where it lets you place this. And then we'll put the ivy between the flagpole and the tree you can see in the distance. Then we're going to use the hook or scythe on the ivy. Again, doesn't work the first time. Don't worry about it, just keep trying. And then we're going to slide using that hook over to the island. So click on the hook until we've exhausted the dialogue. And then, whee, there we go, to this island. You want to pick up the wood that you can see that's in front of you. So click on that to pick it up, put it in your inventory. And I think that's about all we need from this island. So click on the tree. Choose the first option to take the coconut. Or it might be a pineapple. And head back across the water. We can then head back to the map for our next location. So we'll go back to the windmill. I'm going to use the wooden boards on the guy in the loincloth. He's going to construct those into a windmill, hopefully. So yeah, just keep clicking the dialogue, and then you'll see him work his way after some time. Should be able to create us those blades we need for the windmill. There we are. Perfect. So now I've got that windmill turning, we can head and do our next job. So move to the far right, as far as you can go. Again, this one is a little picky. We're going to try and kick this water pipe again. Now the secret to this is we're going to need to give ourselves some ambrosia in order to kick this water pipe. So give the ambrosia to Zeus. He'll then drink the ambrosia, and that should give us the impetus we need to kick the water pipe. So choose option 1 to kick it hard. That should free it. The earth will shake and the pipe will start working again. That will give us the water that we needed in the island. Oh, sorry, in the lion's area. But first we're going to go back to Mykonos. And we're going to use the fruit on the lady that's laid down to the left, who is Europe. She'll take the fruit and then just keep clicking the dialogue, and then we can exit to the right. So now we'll go to the lions area. We should be able to get this water flowing through. Click on the guy to start the dialogue. There we are. That will automatically allow the water to start flowing and the flowers to be in bloom. So click on the flowers. First the orange one, then the pink one, and finally the blue one. I'll just click through the dialogue that comes with these. This guy's called the Ugly Gardener. Didn't notice that before. Use the magnifying glass, so pressing square on the head of the second lion. Again, press it until the dialogue is exhausted. And then click it with the normal pointer, and Zeus should go up and free the head off, and that should give you another piece that you can add to your inventory of the time machine. So again, you'll get the little cutscene for the time machine and the trophy should unlock. So time machine +3. So we're nearly there. We've built in that time machine we're going to need for the end of the game. So we're going to exit this level to the left, as we've done all we need to do here. And then we're going to go back to Mykonos. I'm not sure if that's what it is, but I'm just going to call it that anyway. And then we're going to combine the 3 flowers together to make a bouquet. That should be nice for one of these ladies. And I'm going to hand the bouquet over to Europe. So click on Europe, who's the lady in the left. And then we're going to hand the bouquet of flowers to Europe. So eventually there's going to be some dialogue. For the first part of the dialogue, you're going to want to choose option 1. Did you know I'm an Olympic gold medalist? Zeus having a bit of a brag there. Then the second part of the dialogue, choose option 3. And then just keep clicking on it until the dialogue is exhausted. And then we're going to use the pyramid on the time machine. That'll give us the 4th part of the time machine, so that trophy will unlock and you'll have time machine +4 trophy. Sorry, struggled to get that out there. Now we're closing towards the end of this particular level, so we're going to use the time machine on Zeus himself. Click through quite a little bit of dialogue, and that's going to randomly send Europe on a bull, which Zeus is transformed into, and you're going to fly to our next set of levels now. So you'll get a trophy for also abducting Europe, and then once we've landed, we've got the next part of the puzzle. So TALOS is the big robot to the left, and we're going to work on fixing him in the next part of this game. So if you click on TALOS, option 1, followed by option 2, then option 3, then option 3 again. Then you're going to want to investigate the tree to the right with your magnifying glass. Click through the dialogue, and then you'll notice there's a hole in the tree. Every so often, a little mouse will pop out of it. You'll need to capture that mouse. It's very important. It is on randomly timed intervals, so you won't necessarily know, so it may take a little bit of time to get that mouse to appear. Use the mouse on the head that's above you at the top of the gateway. The mouse is going to go up there and pick up a golden ring. Then use the mouse on the door behind you. It should then find its way through the door and keep clicking until the door unlocks. This is really making TALOS very angry. So give Europe to TALOS. Top option, and the dialogue, keep clicking through it. Use Europe on yourself. and then use Europe on Talos again. Keep clicking till the dialogue finishes. And then option 1 in the dialogue. And again, use Europe on his left shoe, isn't it? And then she'll take some of the bindings in his shin. Then combine these bindings with the golden ring. And then give Talos the new item that you've created, the bound ring and the rope. I'm going to select Europe. We're going to get to climb that rope. This will unlock a little cutscene. And then we'll go into the next puzzle part of the game. These are much simpler than the previous puzzles. So you're just simply switching the squares around in order for them to fit together. So this can take a little bit of time, but you can move any square into any other space, whereas before you had to move them kind of in an order, whereas this one you can just move any square you want. So we're looking just to fit the pieces together. It's kind of slightly obvious where they go once you start to work out which are the border pieces and which are the middle pieces. So there we are, that's managed to fix it. We've fixed Talos. And that should allow us to advance to the next bit of the area. Obviously I have to click through the dialogue. There should be a trophy that unlocks called Fix Talos, and there should also be a guide to the next area. Now once you're in this area, click on the stone statue with the skulls to obtain one of the heads, and then on the doors in the top left to make Zeus go up there, and then use the magnifying glass above the doors in order to unlock a few more things, and then the pointer again above the doors so you unlock your next item, which is a ball of yarn. It's a bit of a random thing to be above a door. And then click the pillar again in the middle of the room. Then we're going to use the ball of yarn on the double doors. Once that's unrolled, it's going to give you a line, and you're going to want to, go into and through the double doors. This is next up is a maze, so this is a little bit of RNG, so it won't necessarily be the same every time. So you might have to follow a slightly different pattern, but essentially you can't really fail it. You can keep going around in a circle constantly, but eventually you will find your way through the maze. You could try and follow my pattern if you wish. It may help. But once you've done that, you should finally exit into what is the final area. So, and get the trophy Cross the Labyrinth, which should unlock. Once the dialogue is complete, you want to click on the stone pile that's in front of this circular well. You'll pick up the big stone and put it into your inventory. That stone can then be used on the well. So you're going to drop the stone into the well. It's actually going to bounce back at you. And then we're going to have to do something here to slow that stone down so you can pick up what actually it's thrown back at you. So just working out what to do here. So I'm picking the stone back up, and I'm going to use the time machine on the well in order to give myself more chance to catch the item that comes out of the well once you drop the stone. So now we've used the time machine on the well. You can go back to your inventory and take the rock and use the rock on the well. Throw the rock in, and that should allow the piece that's going to jump up to be much slower than it previously was. So now I can catch it. There you are. get hold of that thing that looks like a lollipop or a lever, I guess, or a lever. Click on the leaves in the top right corner and then click on the tree with the magnifying glass. This will just forward some dialogue. And we're going to click on the guy and we're going to choose option 1 in the dialogue. And then use the ambrosia on the tree. That's going to turn it and make the leaves blow away for some reason. Don't understand that bit, to be fair. And then choose option 1 and give the guy the last thing you got in your inventory looks like a lollipop. He's then in turn going to give you a stone tablet. And that's going to be important for the next part that we're going to do. So if you go back to the stone tablet and then place it in the kind of stone structure in the middle of the level, that should unlock your next part of the puzzle. Click through the dialogue and then you'll take it out. Obviously just charged it up there and then go back to the previous level using the doors in the top left corner. So use the charged tablet on the researcher. Once that dialogue is finished, grab the lightning rod, place it on the researcher, and then eventually he'll trade a stone tablet with you. So you've got a different one, and then you'll need to go back and place the stone tablet back in the machine as you did previously. So it obviously failed whatever we were meant to be doing with that last tablet. The researchers may be giving us the proper one this time. Yep, so again click that. You can see that it's now working. There's now electricity. And click on this pillar here and press the human head. Option 1 for the first one. Then option 4. And that should complete the pillar and give you this disc on top of the pillar, which you can then take off. Zeus is going to celebrate that. And then we can move back to the previous area in order to finish off this little bit of story. So use the lollipop or lever in the square box that's in front of you. You'll stick that down. And then he's using it like an old school game controller. And then this alien ship appears. Gets a bit silly at this point. We can then use Europe under the tree. Again, I did have some issues with this, so sometimes she doesn't want to sit under the tree. But then we're going to use the weapon on the researcher, so he goes away. And then Europe should be slightly more happy to sit under the tree with us. So if you click on her, click through the dialogue, and then place her under the tree. Hopefully she'll come with you. And then you should unlock the trophy for seducing Europe. After some time and much clicking through the next bit of dialogue, you'll eventually come out of this situation and earn yourself a trophy, as I mentioned, for seducing Europe, which is just popped there. And then you can move on with the rest of the game. Again, don't click too quickly at this point or it can break the game. As you finish and you go back into the time machine, you're pretty much at the end stage now. There's not much more we can do from here. So as the dialogue finishes, you'll get the inventory back on the right hand side. going to use the time machine on the desk in front of you. And then click through the dialogue. So this is pretty much the end sequence. You'll see the Earth shatter in half. And you'll get the trophy for Earth blown up. Then we've only got one more trophy to go, which is Earth Fixer and the Platinum. So use the golden disc on the machine. That golden disc is going to help us reverse what we've done, hopefully. And that will unlock our final trophy. And we'll have completed the game. Zeus Quest and the Platinum should be unlocked with that. So I hope you've enjoyed this guide from us here at How To Trophies. I've been Dan. Please leave us a like, a share or a subscribe or a comment in the comment section below. Let us know how you found the guide and what you'd like us to do in the future. I do like these point and click adventure games, so there will probably be some more on the channel that you can check out. We do have a lot of videos and we have a lot of content also to come. So there is the Platinum, and therefore we can finish up the game. Hope you enjoyed the guide. Take care and hopefully we'll see you very soon. Thank you very much.